Therefore, this question of receiving the world, naturally we need to say the whole perception is backed up by the mind. Because mind necessarily needs to take the object form. Until and unless the mind takes the object form, no perception, no experience is possible. So the world is evident. Now the question is, it is true that the world which you take is sensory, and object outside, when you take it as a unit of cognition or experience, the object necessarily, the mind necessarily needs to take the object form. Now the question is, who is the one perceiving all this? Who is the one who is experiencing all this? There is someone, a conscious being, who is experiencing all this. So when you ask this question, who is experiencing? You can say, I am the one who is experiencing the world. So I am a conscious being. This consciousness is something which is choiceless. I find myself in a given body, enjoying being conscious. Not only I am conscious, as we have said, I am conscious about myself as a person. Therefore, this twofold consciousness which I am blessed with, it is a boon as well a bane. That's why, when you are simply conscious of the world, when you perceive the world, when you respond to the world, if that particular privilege, facility called self-consciousness being not there, simply you can perceive the world, then life would naturally become one whole movement, I tell you. Because there is a perceiver and the perceived, there is no addition on your part upon the perception in the form of demand or resistance. If you can perceive something without any demand or resistance, then the subject-object movement would become one whole unit. You will be just being yourself. When the subject-object unit, when it becomes one movement, then naturally you will be just comfortable with yourself. But this self I am conscious of, as we have said, there is a mistake committed. What is the mistake? In Shastra we say, Atma Anatma Avivekena Janitam Adhyasam. This is called Adhyasa. Adhyasa means superimposition. Mutual transference of qualities. Therefore this body-mind-sense complex, which is insentient, because of the proximity of the consciousness, it becomes sentient. But here, there is a mutual superimposition, means what? The self which I am conscious of, then I add all the properties of the mind, all the properties of the body, mind, sense complex. Therefore, I equate myself all the time with this body. I am as good as the body. That's how we conduct our business with the world. Who am I? If that question, simple question, you can put that simple question, then you cannot come up with a statement without including the properties of your body, mind, sense complex into it. When I say mango, then what will happen? If you have confronted, if you know what a mango looks like, the image of that mango would come in your mind. So the meaning of the word mango is outside as the object called a mango. But when you say consciousness, you cannot have a meaning of it as an object, because that being the subject. Therefore, all our perceptions, because of the presence of consciousness, there is a mutual superimposition, Atma Anatma Viveka. Therefore, what will happen? The body is sentient and I am a conscious being, and that conscious being, I, is illumined by which consciousness? That consciousness you cannot know as an object, but equally it is self-evident. That's why you need not look for Atma elsewhere. Because of which consciousness? That's why Shastra uses the word Swata Siddham, Swapragashatvad, Swata Siddhatvad, iti. Swapragasha means it is self-illumining. That's why the world is evident to me, because the self-consciousness illumines the mind in turn illumines the senses, and the world enters into you in this fivefold fashion. Therefore, this self I am conscious of, into that I include the qualities of the body, mind, sense complex. Body is limited, therefore I am limited. Therefore, body is tall, I am tall. Body is short, I am short. Body is dark, I am dark. Or it is fair, I am fair. So all our conclusions are centered on this basic error of transferring or owning up the properties of the body, mind, sense complex, and now it is sitting pretty on the place where I have this I senses. The place where I have this I sense, there, because of this mutual transference of the qualities between consciousness and the body, mind, sense complex, then I am limited by time, I am limited by space, I am, and so on and so forth. All kinds of limitations I suffer. That's why when I relate with the world, I cannot but think in the form of identification, because the sense of limitation is centered on the place where you have I senses. With that sense of limitation, when you relate with the world, you don't simply stay with a perception. You throw colors upon the perception. There is going to be adhyasa. You start adding false value into what we perceive. That's called Shobhana Adhyasa. Because you think having this you are going to become complete. Having this I am going to become complete. Therefore, with the sense of incompleteness, when I relate, I add something upon my perception in the form of a demand, or I resist something. Because all the time I am a seeker for completeness because of the sense of inadequacy. This mistake is born of ignorance. Here we have to take note of one thing. I am self-evident. I am self-evident means what? I am self-evident enough to commit a mistake about myself. I know that I am samanyataha, but I do not know what is my nature. Hence, I take all the qualities of the body, mind, sense complex and do it itself. It is not that I do not know myself. I know that I am, but I do not know the nature of I. Hence everyone, every human being who is walking on this earth is invariably going to commit this mistake. Therefore, Shastra calls all these human beings as jiva. Individuals. Jiva. Individual is not the exact translation of the word jiva. It is something more than that. Therefore, when I perceive this world in various forms, in the form of forms, sights, taste, touch, smell, all these perceptions are backed up by object thoughts, and there is an entity who is conscious. Therefore, I am the one who is seeing, I am the one who is hearing, I am the one who is knowing the sense of touch, I am the one who is knowing the sense of smell, ityadi. Therefore, who is knowing everything? I. The experiencer, I. Now the question is,